Taylor Swift. The name itself evokes an entire spectrum of emotions. From the moment her first song hit the airwaves, the world has been both captivated and obsessed with her every move. Fans adore her, critics dissect her, and the public can't seem to get enough of her. She's been a shining star for over a decade. Chart-topping albums, sold-out stadium tours, and countless awards. Yet with all the attention comes an overwhelming amount of pressure. But there's a side of Taylor Swift that remains hidden from the public eye, a side that very few get to see. The Taylor Swift we think we know may not be the one that truly exists. We've all seen the image. Taylor Swift, the graceful, composed pop star with a flawless public persona. The girl next door who sings about love, heartbreak, and redemption. We cheer for her as she breaks records and dominates the stage. Her fans adore her for her relatability. Her songs seem to capture moments of vulnerability, those raw emotions that everyone can connect with. Yet what if this isn't the full picture? What if this carefully curated version of Taylor is a shield, protecting her from the harsh realities of fame? What if beneath that perfect image lies a woman who, despite all the success, is just as conflicted, as lost, and as uncertain as any of us? Think about it. Every moment of her life, every word she speaks, is scrutinized, analyzed, and dissected. Her relationships are tabloid fodder, her fashion choices are debated, and even her friendships become talking points. How does a woman handle that level of pressure year after year? How do you remain human when the world constantly tells you who to be, what to say, and how to act? You may think you know Taylor Swift, but do you really know her? Have you ever wondered who she is when the cameras are off, when the lights fade and the crowd stops cheering? As we delve deeper into the story of Taylor Swift, we're not just talking about a pop sensation. This is a journey into the untold truths of a woman who's navigated the highs and lows of stardom. A woman who has faced public humiliation, love, lost, and a battle with her own identity. What if I told you that there are parts of her story that she's never shared with the world? What if there are pieces of her life, so raw and personal, that she is locked away from the prying eyes of the public? Every new album, every new appearance on stage, every headline she makes, it's all part of a narrative that's been shaped by a complex blend of love, pain, and survival. Taylor Swift is not just a pop star. She is a symbol of resilience, of an artist who has fought to define herself amidst the chaos. But even the strongest can crack, and Taylor's cracks might be deeper than we realize. Her vulnerability, her struggles, and her personal battles have shaped her into the woman we know today. But how much of her true self have we really seen? As we peel back the layers, you'll uncover a side of Taylor Swift that is both shocking and inspiring. It's the Taylor we don't see, the one who isn't perfect, who isn't always in control, but who is relentlessly moving forward, no matter the cost. But to understand the full extent of her story, we have to take a closer look. What happens when the world's expectations clash with the truth? What happens when the real Taylor Swift emerges from behind the persona, the album covers, and the public image? Prepare yourself, because the answers may surprise you. It's easy to assume that fame comes with endless perks, money, adoration, and opportunities beyond imagination. But behind the glitter and glamour, fame often brings its own set of challenges. The spotlight that once feels so bright can quickly become blinding. For Taylor Swift, navigating the tumultuous world of superstardom hasn't been as easy as it might seem from the outside. The public only sees what she allows them to see. But what about the things that remain hidden, locked away behind closed doors? What happens when the walls of fame start to feel like they're closing in? Taylor has faced her fair share of setbacks, both professionally and personally. From public feuds to heart-wrenching breakups, the tabloids have never been kind to her. She's had to endure harsh criticism, unwanted media attention, and constant scrutiny of her personal life. But what happens when the cameras aren't rolling? When the interviews are over and there's no audience to impress? What does the real Taylor Swift look like behind closed doors? Many believe that Taylor's tough exterior is a defense mechanism, carefully crafted to protect her from the weight of fame. But the truth is, even the most resilient people can't always shield themselves from the emotional toll that comes with being in the public eye. She may smile and wave for the camera, but there are moments when she's alone, questioning everything, the choices she's made, the relationships she's had, and the person she's become. The world may only see the perfect image, but Taylor herself has had to fight for her peace. There's one thing the world doesn't always acknowledge about Taylor Swift: her vulnerability. It's something she's kept carefully guarded, hidden behind the veil of fame and the perfect pop star persona. But even though she's a symbol of strength, she's not immune to the same fears and insecurities that everyone else faces. What happens when Taylor Swift, despite all her accomplishments, feels completely lost? What happens when the pressure becomes too much and she starts to question if any of it is worth it? We all have our breaking points, and Taylor is no exception. Beneath the red carpet glamour and the sold-out stadiums, there's a person who at times feels like she's drowning in expectations. There have been moments when she's been on the edge, teetering between public perfection and private despair. Yet, even in her darkest moments, she's always managed to find a way back. But at what cost? And when does the pressure of being Taylor Swift finally break through the cracks of the public image? As we dive deeper into Taylor's world, we start to see the cracks in the facade. We begin to understand the emotional toll that fame has taken on her life, both professionally and personally. But don't be fooled. Just because the world may not see her struggles doesn't mean they aren't there. The truth about Taylor Swift's battle with her own identity, her emotions, and her place in the world may be more complex than we ever imagined. So what happens when she can no longer keep it together? Imagine standing on a stage in front of millions, the spotlight on you, and the world watching your every move. That's Taylor Swift's reality. But what does it really take to keep that perfect image intact? Behind every flawless performance, every glowing interview, and every award she's won, there's an immense pressure to be perfect. The public loves to idolize her, to turn her into a symbol of success. But the truth is, perfection is a heavy burden to carry. Taylor's perfection isn't just about her music or her career. It's about the way she's expected to behave, the way she's expected to be in every moment of her life. Every step she takes is dissected, analyzed, and critiqued. She's not just a pop star, she's a cultural phenomenon. And that means the stakes are high, so high that even the smallest misstep can send the media into a frenzy. Taylor knows this all too well. The pressure to maintain the perfect public persona has weighed on her for years. The cost of perfection isn't always visible. It's not something you can see on the red carpet or hear in her songs. It's the sleepless nights, the anxiety, the overwhelming sense of responsibility that comes with being the face of an entire generation. For someone who has been in the limelight for most of her life, the expectation to always be at the top, always be the best, can become suffocating. But the real question is, how much is too much? At what point does the desire to keep up with the world's expectations begin to take its toll on a person? For Taylor, the line between her public self and private self has blurred over time. The person the world loves and the person she is, behind closed doors, are sometimes so different that it's hard for her to know where one ends and the other begins. In her quest for perfection, Taylor has often found herself sacrificing parts of her own happiness. Relationships have been strained, her mental health tested, and her sense of self questioned. She's had to endure public breakups, heartbreaks, and betrayals, all while maintaining the illusion that she has it all together. And through it all, she's kept up the smile, the image of the girl next door who never lets the world see her cracks. But at what cost? What happens when the weight of the expectations placed upon her becomes too much to bear? Despite the accolades and the millions of fans who adore her, Taylor is still only human. Her journey has been one of growth, of learning to balance the demands of fame with the need to preserve her own mental and emotional well-being. In this chapter of her story, Taylor has learned the hard way that no amount of fame or success can replace the need for inner peace. And even though she's constantly under the microscope, she's starting to realize that it's okay to let go of the perfection that the world expects from her. So, as we dive deeper into Taylor's battle with perfection, one question lingers. Can anyone truly keep up with the constant demands of fame? Or is perfection simply an illusion we're all chasing? Taylor's story may be more relatable than we think, because in a world that demands so much from us, aren't we all striving for the same thing, to be enough just as we are? As the world admires her from afar, few truly understand the hidden struggles Taylor faces every day. Behind her public image, behind the sold-out stadiums, and the chart-topping hits, there's a side of Taylor that's often left unseen. The pressure to stay relevant, to keep up with the ever-changing tides of the music industry, to be the voice of a generation. All of it has taken its toll on her in ways that only those closest to her truly know. In the quiet moments, when the spotlight fades and the cameras stop rolling, Taylor is left to confront the weight of her own expectations. It's in those moments that the reality of fame hits hardest. She's not just a singer or a songwriter, she's a symbol. A persona that the world projects its hopes, dreams, and sometimes even its frustrations onto. The expectations are relentless, and the need to keep up with them is constant. But no matter how much she achieves, there's always a new bar to reach, a new milestone to conquer. But perhaps the most challenging part of this journey has been learning to accept her own flaws and imperfections. Taylor's public persona is synonymous with success, but privately, she's faced doubts, fears, and moments of vulnerability that the world would never see. The heartbreaks, the mistakes, the moments when she questioned whether she was enough. These are the parts of Taylor's story that have remained hidden, tucked away behind closed doors. Yet in the face of all this, Taylor has continued to rise. She's taken the pain, the heartbreak, the moments of self-doubt, and transformed them into art. Her music, which has always resonated with fans on a personal level, is a reflection of her own struggles and triumphs. Every lyric, every melody, is a testament to her resilience, to the strength it takes to keep going when the world is watching. It's easy to look at Taylor's life and think that she has it all figured out. But the truth is, no one does. We all have our battles, our moments of doubt and fear. The difference is Taylor's struggles are often played out in the public eye. Her ability to turn those struggles into something beautiful, to create music that speaks to so many, is what sets her apart. But even Taylor Swift, the superstar, is not immune to the dark moments that come with fame. As we continue to peel back the layers of Taylor's life, we begin to see the true story. A story of a woman who's more than just a pop star. She's someone who has faced the toughest of challenges, who has weathered the storm, and who has come out the other side stronger, more self-aware, and more determined than ever. Her fight may be quieter now, but it's no less significant. In fact, it's more powerful than ever before. After years of constant pressure and expectations, it wasn't until a simple, yet powerful moment that Taylor's perspective on fame and life truly shifted. It wasn't in the middle of a stadium filled with screaming fans or during a glittering awards ceremony. It was in a quiet room during a moment of personal reflection when she realized something monumental. Fame, success, and the opinions of others would never define her. Sitting alone, surrounded by the remnants of her life's work, Taylor had a sudden clarity. All the struggles, the heartbreaks, and the criticisms that had followed her for years began to make sense. They weren't the things that defined her. They were simply stepping stones. In that moment, Taylor understood that her true power didn't lie in how many albums she sold or how many times she graced the cover of magazines. It wasn't in the millions of Instagram followers or the accolades lining her shelves. Her power came from within, the way she had persevered through it all, the way she had turned every challenge into art, and the way she had remained true to herself despite the noise around her. And so she made a decision to no longer let the expectations of others weigh her down, to no longer be defined by her past or by the things people said about her. From that moment on, Taylor decided to live life on her own terms, to embrace the person she had become, flaws and all, and to trust that the journey she had taken was exactly the one she was meant to follow. This revelation didn't come overnight, and it wasn't easy, but it was one of the most powerful transformations Taylor had ever experienced. She began to see the world with fresh eyes, no longer as a place where she had to prove herself, but as a place where she could simply be, to create, to live, to love. In the years that followed, Taylor's music evolved in ways that no one expected. It became deeper, more raw, more introspective. She took risks, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. And in doing so, she found a new kind of freedom, one that didn't require perfection, but simply authenticity. Now, when she steps on stage or releases a new album, there's a different kind of confidence behind her. It's not the kind of confidence that comes from external validation, but the kind that comes from knowing exactly who she is and what she stands for. Taylor Swift, the woman behind the superstar, is no longer trying to live up to anyone's expectations. She's simply living her truth, and that is more powerful than anything the world could ever say. Her journey hasn't been easy, but it has been one of self-discovery, resilience, and ultimate freedom. And as she looks out at the millions of fans who continue to support her, she realizes that it's not just her music that has touched their hearts. It's the honesty and vulnerability she's shared along the way. The story of Taylor Swift is not just the story of a pop icon. It's the story of a woman who faced the toughest challenges life had to offer and emerged from them stronger, more authentic, and more determined to live on her own terms. And in that journey, she discovered the greatest truth of all, that she didn't need anyone's approval to be enough. She was always enough.